Okay guys, today's video is going to be starting with the finished product, so to speak, so I can give you a demonstration of how it works first and then get into the details about how I get it to work. What we're looking at is Google Earth, and we're currently offline. I'm not connected to the internet. All the imagery that you see here is because I have it in my cache in the Google Earth program. So I went through the previous area before, and that's how it's in there. So right now I'm using the GPS connected to it, and we're going to do a little trip up the street here to a park where I have a lookout tower that's labeled, and I'm going to kind of do a demonstration like we were going to a radio site or some other place else, and show you how good it works, so you get a feel for what it's like. We're on the move now, and we're pulling out by the fire station, and we're going to be coming here and going down the highway a little bit, and then going into the park and over to the actual tower. When I first heard about this program, I couldn't find much information on it at all, and after loading it and testing it, I kind of realized why, because it worked horribly. It worked really bad, and I was so impressed by what it could do, though, that I was like, well, I gotta find if there's any way I could make this thing happy, and find a sweet combination, and I finally did, and it has proved to be just absolutely phenomenal. I really wish I had this a long time ago, because when you're doing any kind of off-road site trips, that kind of stuff, GPS becomes almost useless, because it'll lead you to the wrong place, it'll tell you wrong things, and it gives you kind of like a cartoonish, just the street map view of things, which does you no good. The Google Earth here, when you're in this mode right here, I know it's a lie, but it gives the illusion, a really good illusion, that you're watching real-time video from a drone right above your head that's just following you along and beaming down a picture of what's in front of you. So the imagery here looks like it's from January of last year. So, but big structures and lakes and roads and those things don't really change that much, especially when you're in off road land. And so, not that I can't come around the corner and be surprised by something because I didn't see it coming here, but it's this gives you perspective of where you're at and your location to other things, which you can never get before, and is really kind of worth its weight in gold. So here I'm coming down to the last little intersection before I need to turn down to the lookout tower. I found that a 5-second sample is the best. You try and do more, and it'll lock up occasionally. If you do it for one, it'll lock up pretty regularly. But I found 5 seconds to be a nice. Never had it locked up on 5 seconds. So, and it's not that laggy to make you miss a quicker update. So, and here we're pulling up here to the site, and good old GPS is keeping right along, and here we are. And so yeah, this is all offline, no internet connection, and pretty impressive. So I'll follow up here in just a bit on how to get all the settings right. Okay, everybody, back at the lab. Just wanted to do a quick hardware overview for you. We obviously have the laptop there, and we have a MiFi, or it could be a any kind of hotspot, cell phone, Ethernet connection, whatever. At some point, it's just that the laptop needs to have an internet connection before you start your journey. And then you have the Garmin Hockey Puck GPS 16X over there. So it terminates in an RJ45 connector, and I have a little breakout box there where I have the cigarette lighter power adapter attached to it, and also my DB9 RS232 that plugs into the back of the PC there, the laptop. But anyway, that's it. That's the only hardware setup. So let's go into the screens of the Garmin and of Google Earth and see all the fine details. Okay, continuing on. This is a look at the Garmin 16X wiring diagram and where we put on the DB9 connector. It's the classic 3 pins, 5, 3, and 2, and it's pretty straightforward here. On the power source, I put in a cigarette lighter plug, and there's also one of the wires here is a 1 pulse per second out, and I hooked a LED up to it to give a pulse to let me know that it's up and running and everything's good with it. Yeah, it's pretty easy to do an interface with an RJ45 little biscuit type setup. But anyway, right now the default when you power one of the Garmin's up is that it puts out the NEMA NMEA stream, and let me show you what that looks like. Right now I have it plugged in, and it's in its default mode like you'll get right out the box, and it's it puts out 4 different sentences, and each one of these has got location and time and other information there for it. It's kind of a standard setup. But I found that we don't want to use this one. We want to use the proprietary Garmin one. It works so much better. So we're going to close this out, and I want to show you real fast how to get into the programming of the Garmin and change that over. So let me minimize this back and come over here. This program right here is just a simple exe program that you download from Garmin. We'll fire it up here, and you pick out the model that you want. We're going to go to 16X, and we're going to go OK. And now we can come in here and we can select our COM setup, and we want COM 1, and we can go manual since I know it's going to be 4800. And once we get that select, now we can connect to it, and it's trying, and the connection success, baud rate, so we go OK. And let me see if I can get this a little bit bigger for you here so you can see it. And we want to go ahead and get the configuration from the GPS and essentially bring it into our screen here. So we're going to go ahead and select that. You go yes, and then no, I don't want to save it. And it essentially goes in there and downloads the information. Now we can come in here and we can configure our sensor, and what we need to do is we need to come over here in the sensor configuration screen, and we need to select this box right here where it says Garmin binary output. So we're going to select that, and we're going to go OK, and now we're going to take that and send it back into the GPS. So we're going to send the config to the GPS. And it's going to dump that file back in there. Okay, now once that's done, now we can go ahead and disconnect from it. And before we leave, we want to confirm our comms still 1 and 4800. And we want to come over here to the config, and now we want to switch it to Garmin mode. So we're going to make it go over to its binary mode instead of the normal sentence, the NEMA mode here. So we'll go switch to Garmin mode, and connection success, baud rate detected. So we go OK. It sent the little file, and now we are ready to be in the Garmin mode. So let's go over here and take a look and see what's going on. We want to not save the changes, and this is where you need to do a power reset. So you just unplug the RJ45 for a few seconds and plug it back in, and now when it powers back up, it should be in this new mode, binary, and it's instead of sending the ASCII sentences at 4800 baud, it just sends raw binary data at 9600. So let's go back into our real term here and see if it took. And we're having a look at that coming down, and if we go over here to our port and we change this over to 9600, and we go change, and there we go. Now if we come over here and go to our display and change it to binary, you'll see the new product, which is 9600 at binary only. And we're not getting any kind of, if there were errors going on, if you were at the wrong baud rate, you'd get errors down here. But no problem coming through, and that's what this is what the proprietary Garmin looks like. So we can now that we're clear of that, we can go ahead and get out of here, and we can go back into Google Earth and give that a shot and see if it'll fire up and go ahead and log on to the GPS now. So let me come into Google Earth, and it's going to squawk at us because there's no internet connection right now. So, and it's the little warnings there. So we'll go OK, no problem there. And yes, you're having trouble, I'm sorry. And we go OK there. So let me minimize this a little bit here too, so you can see. But anyway, here we are. So let's go over to our tools and go into GPS, and we're going to come over here, and you want to select real time. And unfortunately, you have to manually select these every time you go into the program. There's no way to save it where it sticks and it remembers the settings you have here. So we're going to come over here and we're going to make it Garmin PVT. We're going to change this down to 1. and we're going to make this 5, and we'll say automatically follow the path, and this is where it's either going to be magical or it's going to flop. But after you start this, you'll see it'll go gray out. You don't want to close it. You just want to kind of drag this box down and kind of hide it over here where it's out of the way. It doesn't like it if you close that box. Sometimes it doesn't mind, but other times it does. So I just leave it alone now and just drag it down. So here we go. Let's see what's going on. Now there you can see it's looking at COM1 and it's seeing something, and boom. As soon as you see it focus in and come down like that, you know you're going to be in business, because it got a lock. And there we are, and it successfully got a good lock. And so we're going to go into some other things that you got to make sure that you're all adjusted here in the Google Earth Pro next. Okay, for the last part, we're going to go over the Google Earth settings that you need to put in. You know, everyone can try their own thing. I'm just going over the ones that I tried and that were successful for me. I would sum up the entire Google Earth Pro tracking option here, if you want to call it with the GPS, to be, I would describe it as it's pushing the limits of the program to everything it can do. So it has to have no distractions. It can't handle overlays. It can't handle even talking to the server and doing the tracking at the same time. That's why you kind of need to do pre layover or flyover of your area, so that it can build in the cache, so it doesn't have to be online. But anyway, let's just go over this stuff real fast. Here you can see on all my layers, I got them all turned off, and under any sub one, I got all the sub ones turned off, so it's just a blank slate. And I don't need any of these anyway, so no harm there. The next thing you want to do is go into your options, and you want to make sure that you're not using the high quality or 3D imagery, because it's just it's too much on the machine. Next is in the cache, you want to make these maxed out. In today's machines, these seem awfully small, but it was big back in the day. But 1024 up top and double it below. And as far as I don't know if this has any effect, but I went ahead and put on the accept all unrecognized data, because all we're looking for is we're not worried about any one particular stream coming in. We want it to dump and go on to the next one. So as far as the GPS stuff is concerned, and so I got those taken care of in the options. And then what I'm showing you here is I'm showing you that this is the potential area that I would want to have in my cache. So I'm going to show you how I can quickly go through and do a flyover of this area to make sure it's all fresh in my cache, so I don't need to be online. So let me go through that first. What I do to do that is I want to get to the exact elevation that the GPS tracker already does, so that it's the same image, so that when I'm going through, it doesn't have to do any kind of refocusing or any editing or whatever. It's going to be exactly at the elevation that it wanted to see it at the first spot. So I am online right now, and it's connected to the mothership. So I'm going to go ahead and come over here and let's go ahead and get rid of the sidebar here and go into the tools and go to the GPS. And I've put my settings here. Once again, we're Garmin PVT 1 and 5, and automatically follow the path, and we're going to start. And it's going to go over there and look at the com and get the information. You can see it found it, and now it's pulling us in to where we're needing to be. And there we are. So I can pull this over here, and it's got a good position, and we're at 4265 feet. So I can go ahead and stop this. We're now at the right elevation, and I can show you how I can now use my I just use my up and down arrows, sideways arrows on my keyboard, and I'll go up here and I'll scan my area. So here's the front of it, and I'm just going to go across. This is my polygon that I just drew out, just re-sketched over, and this is nothing for Google Earth cache thing, but I'm just making it as an example, and I'm just using my arrow to go back, and I'll go back and I'll take a center shot right down the middle here. But anyway, once I get all preloaded like that, now I can when I go back and go offline, I'll be able to see everything. So let me disconnect my properties there. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, so now I'm officially offline, and Google Earth cannot talk to the mothership. So I'll come over here and I will try and get my GPS back and see if it's still working. And we're Garmin, and we're going to go ahead and start. And I don't know if you noticed that that first time, but when I was online and you get a track, you get a nice bright blue dot to let you know that your position. But when you're offline, instead of getting the blue dot, you get the red X, and you can see it flicker every 5 seconds. And you can also come up here to the countdown timer, and you'll see every 5 seconds it's taking a new little snapshot of it. But yeah, so now we can go ahead and turn this off and get out of here. But if I come up here and I go and look around my path, you can see it's got no problems at all seeing any of the stuff that I previously looked over. Now, if I just keep on, in this case, I'm going to keep on heading east. At a certain point, I want to get into unlooked at territory here, and you'll see how it reacts when it gets there. Come across, and there it is. You see how it went all blurry, and back to the left, and it's all clear. So, and there's the blur line right there in the middle. So this is the illusion that Google Earth wants you to be under. They don't want you to know that they're slipping back and forth between getting the data if they need it and keeping the cache if they don't. But there's a great example there of what it looks like. But when you're offline and you're doing the tracking here, it doesn't lose its attention to the talking to the mothership there, and it works flawlessly. So all right, well, there's the setup for the the Google Earth Pro side, and hope you get out there and give it a shot.